Basically, I'm going to show you guys the stupidest thing that you can do today, and that is showing your books to everybody. So basically, a lot of people, I see a lot of people in gaming, always like, show you guys like how to do like the content round and stuff like that. Because a lot of people in gaming are like specifically content creators, if you think about it. And then there's like editors, then there's graphic designers, maybe there's some like kind of agency too. But that's like the gist of gaming. Maybe there's an esport team as well that's like doing it. However, there's not a lot of like businesses in gaming in general, right? So I'm gonna show you guys like the business side of it, and like how what you have to like kind of look for, and kind of how far can what in the world, and kind of like what you have to like do to be able to achieve like a million in sales or something like that, right? For your gaming product. Because a lot of gaming businesses, like, they don't share this stuff with you guys because they probably make like crazy high profit margins. We don't really make that much like profit margins. But I'm gonna show you guys how to do that from like 0 to like 1 million, right? And just to show you guys like my income here. So this I literally just got like with my accountant and stuff like that today. So what we've done so far is like $866,000 per this year, right? So if you calculate that, if you calculate that and you're doing like a 1 year like estimated, it's probably gonna be like 1.29 000. So somewhere around there, right? And it's not. You guys might be thinking this is a lot, guys. This is not. This is actually like really not that much compared to some of the gaming like brands that you guys know here. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. So, let me pull up my notes here. And if you guys have, actually, what we should do is, if you guys have any questions, you guys let me know, and you guys could post it in the, chat here, and I'll respond to them. This is getting deleted like right after the stream, but like whoever got the sauce, like or tuned in for the sauce, you guys have something special here for sure. So just to give you guys my background while you guys are like doing this chat here, let me pop out this chat actually. Boom. Bang. This is so stupid of me to do, but I don't see a lot of people sharing like this educational information. So I'm gonna just share it with you guys today, just because I want to see like you guys succeed as well, like in gaming or whatever like venture you're in. I'm not like any kind of expert or anything like that. So hey, so you guys could definitely do this as well. So just to start out, from the beginning, right? From the beginning, like let me just give you my background. So basically, my background was like I was a broke college kid, right? Basically I gamed all day, and I really wanted to avoid failure or confrontation, right? So basically, like because I was like because I was very like introverted. I didn't really talk to like anybody in college or anything like that. Like I would stay on the game all day. Like that was really like a bad path and stuff like that for me. And that just show you how you guys could really like change your life like out of nowhere. Like if you really put your mind to it, you don't have to be in a position that you are now and think that your whole life is like going to be like that. If you change like just basically your mental and just surrounded yourself with like the right people, the right environment, you can do a lot. If I could do it, like you guys could definitely do it here. So basically I was broke, gamed all day in college, didn't make any money, nothing like that. And I had the worst thing is having no tangible skills. So if you're broke and you have no tangible skills, you are making minimum wage. You're not gonna make more than that, not gonna make less, but you're making minimum wage. You're not gonna do anything with that, right? So what I had to do is I had to find a solution for this, right? So I took a chance, and it was the craziest chance that I've ever took. So every day, like while I worked, I used to work at like a pharmaceutical benefit company and stuff like that. Every day that I worked, I would like research about like tech related to gaming, right? And like this research, I didn't know why. I was researching like all this stuff at all. And this is usually I realize how like businesses start out and stuff like that. They like it doesn't really start out by a plan. Some do, but like most don't. It just like happens. So I would research like stuff about PCs, specifically like network and your internet, right? And basically your stream. Because me as a gamer, like I was like interested in this stuff. Like I was interested in the right way to actually like just optimize or configure this stuff in general because I didn't know like how to set it up and stuff like that. So that's what I used to do like in work, like almost like all day here. And I feel like this is really, really what got me to where I am today. And I had no idea that this would pay off. But basically, like what I'm trying to say with this is like the stuff, like the things, it's always the things that you nobody else knows or like the little niches that nobody else knows that makes the biggest or best businesses here. So like if you're in a business, like for example, like we had like a PC, we have a PC building business, right? We call it Tune PC. Then we have something called like Sense Quality, like in our business, right? And we do like optimizations and stuff. So if you were to start out, if I were to look at this and I were to pick a business when I'm starting out, like in the first place, what I would pick is probably Tune PC because, you know, like everybody builds PCs, right? Like this is like a really good business and stuff like that. However, the problem with this is like when you're looking for something to do, guys, like what you want to do is be like the only one or like one of the only ones like really in your space. And that way you can just that kind of business is like to the next level where like you can focus on your craft, double down on your niche, and you can make a lot of money doing that. You don't want to do what everybody else is doing, which is like PC building and stuff like that. You want to focus on something that's different, right? And that's like probably like the first like thing that I would say regarding business. Like focus on something that's different that you are the best at, right? That you are literally dominant at. So if I were not like as good at like optimizations or like research, knowing like what actually works, what actually doesn't work, then I would not make like what I do. And by the way, guys, I don't actually like just make like $1 million. I wish I did. There's still like expenses and stuff that comes with the business, but this is what the business generated in total, right? Of course, like you have to subtract like expenses and stuff, and it's gonna be way less than that. I actually like I think we like gave away like 200 to like 300K in PCs this year to like creators that really needed it. So that was like a big impactful thing that I really don't really talk about, but I don't make like an actual $1 million, guys. Just to let you guys know, I don't make that much. So basically, what I really want to talk about, um, somebody asked a really good question. He said, "How did I learn like the optimizations and stuff?" So how did I learn the optimizations, right? So this was actually very hard, and you guys need to like look for something like this, right? So I like learning optimizations and stuff like that, which is a very broad word. What he means is like basically learning how to like tune PCs, um, configure internet, and like set up streams, right? So that's like three main things that we very much like do and we're like the best at. So learning how to do this was very hard. And that's exactly what you want to look for, guys. You want to look for something that is very hard, that it is almost impossible to compete with you, right? So how I learned the optimization was of course like trial and error. However, like a lot of people that I realized that like compete with us stuff and stuff like that kind of want to like get where we are in terms of like our marketplace and stuff. A lot of them like rely on like YouTube, Google, all that stuff. When in this space, like in optimizations, any space that's not very defined yet, because what the heck does optimization even mean, right? Um, you really, really, really have to like throw out 95% of like just stuff that doesn't make sense or have no data to it. And then you have to very much like focus in on that 5%, and finding that 5% is the hardest thing that you'll probably do out of this whole process here, because that 5% you have to come up with it by yourself, and you have to be open-minded, and you have to be nuanced enough like to know that it is the 5% that is actually like the truth, right? So that's why like that's how I was able to learn it. Like YouTube videos and stuff like that, like I could tell you guys right now, like 95% of those are like BS. You could just run all of those with a script, one script, done. So like literally you want to find something like that, like something that hasn't been like touched yet. Like when we came into the optimization space, the optimization space um was basically known for scams, no like no value, like people, like just people ripping people off, right? Because those guys that like used to do it before us and stuff like that, which eventually died out that I've seen, those guys they didn't take the time of their day to actually like focus on their craft. They didn't put in like the 10,000 hours of work or whatever. So basically, like people could tell, like when you're in a business, like people could honestly tell when you're actually providing them value and not. Like it's not, you can really tell, especially with a service business. And because these people did not put in those 10,000 hours of work, which is what you have to put in, which is why I probably put into this like optimization kind of thing. Um, you can actually change this around. So this was probably like one of the craziest like markets to ever go into, because everybody in this market was known as a scammer. They didn't provide value. They didn't know what they were doing, to be honest, like when I look back. And we had to just kind of flip this market around, because even if your business is good in a bad, like a market known for bad things, you are going to get that reputation, and you got to find a way to like turn that around here. So that was probably the second like hardest thing for me to do, like turn that reputation around and actually provide like logical data that people can see, in order to like see the value of it. Because if I don't provide the data, like then they can't see the value. So what we used to do is like we used to like screenshot like the network before and afters, so nobody can say like it didn't do anything, like it actually did. And that's always what we focus on, like showing customers like the actual value, not being like, oh yeah, like the game's gonna feel smoother, like yeah, have a good day. So that's one thing that we've very much focused on that allowed us to grow in this space here. Um, Let me see. Somebody asked, how do you see the future of optimizations? I know, knowing that things change so often with updates in games, how do you see the future of optimizations? The future of optimizations, you don't really know. There's always going to be a future, like there's always going to be optimization in general, because like with anything, guys, like a Intel or like an AMD or something like that, they're not going to throw their CPU out like at the highest like cap space possible, because they play it very very lenient, and they want to make sure that their stuff, they don't want you filing a warranty and stuff, right? Like so there's always going to be a future like in this space and stuff like that. But all I'm gonna say is that we're about to change this space. Like, you guys will see. I can't say too much about that. But basically, like, let me get into it. So let me get into, and if you guys have any questions, like if it's a good question, I'll like go ahead and stop and answer it and stuff like that. But let me get into how this happened. Like, so like from 0 to 1 million, right? Which I don't actually make 1 million, guys. So basically, how to create, and I see this a lot, like for some reason, and it's the easiest question ever. So how to create a successful business, right? A lot of people ask this, and literally it is the easiest question ever. This is one thing I really didn't have a problem on. The way you create a successful business, guys, is you solve a problem. And how to know if that business is going to be like a $1 million business, $100 million business, like a $1 billion business. That depends. Like the bigger the problem, right? The more they can be made. So for example, like Elon Musk, like with Tesla or something like that, that was like a big business. What SpaceX, like those are like big problems, and that's why those businesses are worth so much money, because they are big problems to solve, and the bigger the problem that you can solve is the more money you make. It's that simple. Literally, business is nothing more than this right here. That is how you create a business. That is it. You solve a problem. Doesn't have to be your problem. It has to be like a common problem. It can't just be for one person. But as long as you follow this, that's how you create a business and problem solved. So now, and what we've learned like in our business is like we just look for big enough problems to find a solution to. And I feel like that's why like we've been known kind of like as the top tier, because like we're not like looking at like other like competitors that we have and stuff like that, like in like the business or whatever. As you usually see, like what you guys would notice, if you, I don't know if you guys, how long you guys like been following me or whatever, like we've like always been like the first to just solve like the audio issue, for example, network issues with the CDL, like when they switch to internet, like PC issues. Like we basically look for any problem like creators or gamers have, and we solve that. And that's like how I run my business, and it's like literally the simplest thing possible that you can do. So I would say take this for sure and copy that, because trust me, this will make you money right here. Don't try to just come up with your own problem, guys. Actually look for problems that a lot of people have and just solve it. Like that's it. So basically, let me see. So, what I feel like what I learned what I learned that's very important before we like really get into it, right? So what I learned is that it's not about how hard you row the boat. It's about what boat you are in. And this is from like Warren Buffett, right? And this is so goddamn true. So it's not about how hard you row the boat. It's about what boat you are in. What does that even mean? So for example, like a lot of people think that if you work harder, then you will make more money. That is not how this works, guys. So that is not how business works whatsoever. And it's probably like the exact opposite of that. So basically, let's say that I am doing optimizations. Like I'm doing optimizations in what's like a small game? Like what's a very, very small game? Civ 5. You guys probably never heard of it, right? Versus like Call of Duty or versus Valorant, right? The game that is picked is how much I will make. And it is like the hard cap of how much I'll make. So right now I could probably be making a killing on Valorant, but like we're not in that game yet, right? So we're looking to expand to this game. I'm not going to expand to Civ 5 because there is not a lot of players on Civ 5, and there is not like, no matter how hard I work, this small community will not pay me enough to do all of that work. So you really want to be careful, guys, of what boat you get in, because that boat determines how much you will make. And like, let's say like you are, even if you're a content creator, right? If you're a content creator, you have to think about like what kind of audience, like your audience is your like, that's you're going to be your like boat, right? Because they're the ones that are going to take you from 0 to a million, like deliver your dreams. Like they're the ones that matter. This audience very much depends like how much you will make over your lifetime, right? So a lot of people like, I would like double down on YouTube before I ever double down on like something like TikTok, right? because I would very much want like an audience that has like a long attention span or a longer attention span, a higher age that has like stuff that I can relate to because I'm 25, like you guys are probably like around the same age too. And I would want an audience that, like, let's say it really matters like when it comes to your income, even if you don't think about it like as a content creator, because what happens is like when YouTube picks an ad to be in front of your content, if you are like a Warzone YouTube versus a tech YouTube, right? The tech YouTube is going to make more because these guys, like let's say you're like showing off a 3080, like Gamer Nexus or Linus, these guys have audiences that are willing to spend $800 on a graphics card. So of course these guys are going to make just a little bit higher if both of these people have the same amount of views. These guys might have a good chance of making a higher amount just because they have an audience that are willing to spend a higher amount. So no matter what you do, this applies to anything that you do in life, guys. And you really have to think about this. Don't let it stop you from like going into anything that you want to, but you really have to think about this. It's the same thing for like example, like college degrees, right? A psychology degree versus a computer science degree. Like, I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that explains it right freaking there. So basically, I would say you definitely want to think about this. The next thing is basically, I already covered the value of your clients matter. Money. Let me just scroll down here. So, money doesn't solve all your problems, right? Especially, oh Lord, especially in business. So a lot of people think that they could just throw money at stuff. And I learned this like the hard way too. Like a lot of people think that they could just throw money at stuff and that's gonna solve like their problem alone. But that is not the case, guys. Money is used like as a tool to like transfer value from one to another. So money really wouldn't solve like all of your problems. It could solve some, like for example, hiring someone to delegate or something like that. But if you're not taking the steps to solve your problems like by yourself to the end of the day, then money's not gonna do it for you. You know what I mean? So this is one big thing that I've learned that I wish I knew when I started and stuff like that. I'll probably like make more like if I knew this, but money does not solve all your problems. So like let's say like, oh, you're making a Twitter post and you want like more viewers on your Twitter post. You don't just hit promote tweet and just pay $200 to like make that Twitter post blow up. What you want to do is actually learn what people are what you want to do is actually learn what people want to read, and that's how you actually like blow up on Twitter and stuff like that. You don't want to just throw money at it because to the end of the day, even if you get all those people's attention on you, what's going to happen is you're not going to deliver because you don't have just the skills in general to be able to deliver because you threw money at it instead of like actually learning the skill. So this is like a major thing that I've learned there. And I would say the third biggest thing is basically if you are too scared, to fail. I mean, to take risk or fail, you will lose. And this is so true. So basically, the people, if you think about it, for the most part, the people that take the highest calculated risk usually are the people that make the most money. Like, for example, like you are an employee, like at a company, you are like set, good to go. You have like a salary and stuff like that. You show up 9 to 5 and stuff. Like you don't have really much risk, like except for like being fired, but that's very rare. Versus like the business owner, right? Who has like the risk to take for the marketing, who has to figure out like a really good like team and stuff like that. He's taking more risk in general. And that's why the owner or like the CEO or whatever, like that's why like those people usually make so much because they're taking like the highest risk in general. And usually, like a lot of people that I see that probably would run like a very, very good business, are too scared to fail. Like they're too scared to just take like some type of risk, especially like in your 20s, which you're supposed to take all the type of risk in your 20s, which is crazy. So this is why a lot of people like don't get into business because they don't believe in you. Like you don't believe in yourself. And honestly, like if you did believe in yourself, you would have no idea like what you can actually accomplish. Like if I was able to accomplish this like 0 to like 1 million, like imagine how much you guys are able to accomplish. You know what I mean? You guys are probably like able to accomplish like 1 billion or something like that. You A lot of people just like I feel like our education system kind of train people to be like employees. Like nobody's trained to really be a business owner, and you're gonna figure that out if you ever start a business. It's not easy. So literally, what you want to do is you want to go out in the field, guys. Especially like if you're 25, like or like if you're in your 20s, guys, you kind of want to go out in the field. And I'm not saying like make this your like main thing. At least like find a hobby or a side hustle that you can do and like focus on, just so you can get like those reps in, fail fast, and then like when you're like in your 30s and stuff like that and you're really really ready to start like an actual company, then you'll have like that experience to be able to like deliver. Because a lot of the times like in business I realize experience really does matter. And if you have that experience already, it's gonna save you a ton of money. Like all this stuff that I'm telling you guys will probably save you like a good, if you have like a $1 million business, it'll probably save you 300 to $400,000 right now. So this is why I'm telling you guys this. But let me just check the chat real quick, just to see like what kind of questions you have. Let's see. Try and solve problems that exist in a world with a large audience. The larger the audience, the better your odds of sticking. Exactly, exactly. So like literally, I can't solve a problem for Civ 5 because that audience is so small. Now, unless the audience is like very high value, and they are delivering like a massive amount of like value in return for me solving that problem, I'm not going into Civ 5 to solve that problem. That is that is not great. I'm going into COD where it has a lot of PC players to solve their problems, or Valorant where it has a lot of Val players to solve their problems. I'm always picking which boat I'm in because that boat is going to determine how much I make. And if I'm in both of these boats, oh man, oh man, you're gonna make a lot. But let's see. Sometimes you could create a market because you know all the problems someone else with less experience wouldn't. Correct. So basically, like I feel like, to be honest, like we didn't really create it. I feel like we established like the whole like optimization, like marketing, like Call of Duty in general. Cause before like we even started like this stuff, guys, I'm telling you, like I don't know if you guys like remember this. Back then, like nobody, like it was like the industry was just known for just scams. Cause nobody knew what they were doing, and we just came and like just changed the whole thing. And now like even our competitors are benefiting like from like what has happened and like the proof that we gave and stuff like that, because our competitors, they don't get as much like flack like for being, instead of like a scam industry and stuff like that, like people assume the best now instead of the worst. So that it really depends on like what industry that you're in for that. Let's see here. Third best thing is marketing. I mean networking. Yeah, networking is very important thing. I wouldn't say it's like I wouldn't say it's one of the major things that like attributes to your success, but it's very important like to see like who you network with, because that's like long lasting relationships that you can make, that'll make you overall like successful and stuff. So I would definitely like network and figure out like who like the 5 people are around you that are, because those people make you. Basically the 5 people around you guys that are there the most are the people that really do make you. So you want to put yourself like in front of like people that, or with people that are better than you, or where you want to be already. And I promise you that is literally the hack to like getting where you want to be. So if you want to be like a software developer at like a major tech company or something like that, you should be on Twitter Spaces with all those software developers that I see every night that's on there that's willing to talk to anybody. You should be on Twitter Spaces with them, like trying to communicate, trying to see what you have to know, what mistakes that you have to avoid and stuff, and that will get you there very quick. It's like taking the express train. Let's see here. Mm, can you please do dark note? Oh yeah, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. So how do you use dark notion? Give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. So I care about your eyes. Oh, okay, okay. Oh crap. How do I? And I'm gonna continue this in a second, guys. Give me 1 second. Windows Shift L. Okay. So Windows Shift L. What in the? Well, that didn't do it. Settings and member. Okay. So where is that? Control Shift L. Boom. There we go. Awesome. So this is so much better. All right. So next. So still can't believe I played against you, with and against you during your come up. I remember when you did it for free for a bit, and we were all shouting you out. So proud of you, brother. Yo, I appreciate that, boss. I really appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man. Like I can't believe it either, dude. Like literally, I feel like I'm such a different person than what I was 2 years ago. That it is insane. Like I am definitely not the same person, which is crazy. But it's all hard work, man. Let's see here. I learned so much from Theo in the past year. It's crazy. Yo, Theo's literally the goat, bro. If you want to be like a real, if you want to be, you really want to be somebody, guys. Like especially in programming, that makes like an impact. You don't want to like be doing like the most work. You want to make the most impact. And like Theo, like he's one of the guys that you can just tell, like he knows how to make like a very big impact. And you need to, if you're in programming, I would definitely follow him to see like how he does it, because it's literally blatant and obvious, and that's the kind of people that like you want to be around for sure. Also, you don't have to be someone already impressive to connect with people who are better at their craft. Usually, if you show that you care about what you're doing, people will help out. Yeah, for sure. Because, and I see that a lot. So you have to have, like, guys, you have to really have just the overall like conviction to be able to do what you're doing. Like if you don't want to do something, like the thing that people don't understand about other people, guys, especially in business and stuff like that, people can sense your emotions like very easily. Like that's what humans are literally like the best at. So if you don't want to be there and stuff like that, then you need to figure out a way to make it where like you can be effective and like you can actually provide that person like the best value in general. Now if you're looking to get to somebody that's like higher, like a higher value than you and stuff like that, yes, you can be around them and stuff, but I would suggest like always trying at least to like better improve yourself in general. Don't like stay stagnant around those people, because if they're really high value people like such as Theo or something like that, then they will drop you off like real quick. Just because you're not, like, you have to be impactful for to those type of people, or like have some type of value, like whether it's like emotional, like technological, something. Because that's what people like they like to be around people that like are like them. Let's see here. All right, so let's continue getting off track here. Sorry, I just wanted to answer your questions real quick. All right, so now let me do this. Where's my other notion? Okay, there's my other notion. So boom, so we went over like the important stuff. So that those stuff, like, that's really like a very important, those are very important tips that you have to know. um let me see. Another a tip would be like face confrontation head on. And this not only goes for business, this goes for life in general. Anytime I didn't face like or confront anything that I didn't want to, it always it always cost me more to the end. You want to always like confront like your biggest fears or like your biggest problems and stuff head on, because that's going to save you so much time. You have no idea, guys. So if, for example, like my website in December, like we had a for example, we had a website that was like decent in, I would say, November 2021, right? I waited until the last minute to do this, right? As soon as we updated the website, right, to be better for our customers, guess what happened? Instant spike, probably like 50% increase in sales. Just because I didn't want to face the confrontation of like having to actually do the website over again. But can you imagine how much it was costing me before? Because our website wasn't good enough for people to actually like purchase stuff. I must have lost so much money from that. So literally all the problems that a business like has, guys, you can't just leave it staying like just laying there and stuff like that. What you want to do is like very much like face it head on for sure. And that will that will most definitely like solve a lot of your problems. Because you in business, you really don't want to be thinking about like things you have to do. You want to be thinking about things that'll like further your business in the future and stuff like that. So that's what I've realized, and that's just one like tip that you guys could take. Another thing is basically taking responsibility, right, for everything in business, right? So let's say like a tech like does something bad like on a like we had like a for example, like we had a bad hire. I think it was in February or March. I'm not gonna say the name of who it was and stuff like that. And literally, this guy basically like quit on 100 people, right? So basically, we had 100 people that were supposed to get done. That basically we had to find a way to get them done because this guy was not dedicated enough, or I wouldn't. How should I say this? I want to be fair on this. I want to be like 100% just honest and clear. It wasn't that he wasn't dedicated enough. It was I didn't make my expectations clear. And like as like a business owner and like a leader in general, I feel like this is one of the biggest things as a leader that you have to learn. You have to make sure that you make your expectations clear and that people know exactly like what they're getting into and stuff like that, especially if you're bringing them on a team. This is our probably one of our number one biggest like mistakes, because me as a leader, I didn't that's on me that this guy like did this. So this was me doing this because I hired this guy to be able to take care of these 100 people, and I was supposed to do my due diligence to make sure that this guy could do it. And he didn't do it. So that's on me for making a bad hire. I should have seen through that. And I should have made my expectations clear from day one, so we didn't have any conflict or anything like that. So this was a big thing on me, and I had to learn that this wasn't his fault. This was actually my fault because I didn't do my due diligence to make sure that he can provide enough value to like the people that we're working with in general. Because the guy, he basically he what happened was like he stated that he could do like a lot of like the skills and stuff like that that we just basically do on a daily basis. However, like when it really got into it and when like we put him on the calls or anything like that, he really couldn't. So he from that he was just facing a lot of pressure because what we do is very much not easy, guys. He was facing a lot of pressure and he basically like gave up. And that was like one of like the worst weeks of my life. But if you take responsibility, then you will solve a lot of like issues, and you won't have to like go through like a negative cycle of like, oh man, like this guy's so bad at this, blah 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 blah. No, like from the beginning, it was my fault as a business owner for hiring this guy, because literally I should have done my due diligence instead of saying like, instead of asking him like what skills that he could have done. I should have made it clear, and I should have have him show me what skills he should have done. I assumed, and assume is for that he, since he was in like the optimization community and stuff like that, that he was able to achieve like the skills that we can. But I should have known that it's very unlikely for like somebody in this community in general to do as much as we do on like the daily basis. And that's where I messed up. I assumed. So you should never assume anything, guys. You should always do your due diligence, like no matter what. No matter if it's like anything financial, anything like hiring anybody, like you have to do your due diligence. Now, and honestly, like if I knew like that this guy couldn't have done the work, I could have probably like tried to train him up. However, like at that time, since we were getting so much business, I just didn't have enough time to train somebody. So I was looking for somebody that I already knew, that already kind of knew like the work. But I should have known that like a lot of people just don't know like a lot of the stuff that we do in general. So you can't wait. That's another thing. Don't wait until the last minute to delegate. So for example, like last year I burnt out in general because I waited until the last absolute minute to delegate or like hire another tech or something like that. Like if I were to do this whole business by myself, guys, you guys probably wouldn't ever see me on a screen or anything like that. I would basically be all day going through DMs, like answering Discords, like going into Zoom meetings. I would be on a grind almost 24/7 here. So you have to learn how to delegate a lot of important stuff to other employees that you have or like contractors and stuff, because you cannot do it all, guys, in a business. Even if like you're the face of the business, like I'm considered the face of Sense Quality and stuff like that, I have to know that I cannot do it all in general, and I have to learn how to delegate and train like people to be able to do like the stuff that I want done in a great manner. So that was one mistake that I very much made, because I waited to the last moment to delegate when I could have just trained somebody like way before and made way more money. Another thing is invest in your skills, right? So a lot of you are willing to buy like a $100 CDL pack, right? Or like a Warzone pack, when you should be taking that and probably like subscribing to Skillshare or something, or like Devin Nash Patreon, or like something like that, which gives you unique skills and unique insights that you have to know. For example, like I got the top tier like Patreon of like Devin Nash's like just overall Discord, right? And this taught me a lot of like in-depth stuff about business and stuff like that he can't really like talk about on his main channel, just due to a lot of people like aren't real like business owners and stuff like that, right? So he likes to talk about that on the back end, and this was probably the best $50 I've ever spent this month. So literally you want to invest in skills and invest in things that'll make you better as a person in general, because I promise you, oh my God, I promise you those skills don't depreciate, guys, no matter what. You see, if you invest into the stock market, there's a chance that money is going to depreciate. Skills, if you invest it into yourself and your skills and your health, that's not depreciating. Trust me. So this is one thing that I've recently learned to do. I used to be the guy that used to be like, oh yeah, like why would I pay this guy? Like, let me just do it myself and stuff like that. But it comes to a point when you're just you have such limited time that it is better that you pay for the cheat codes, basically. Skills and learning stuff like in general from like people behind paywalls and stuff like that. Now I'm not saying go out and go get like some random financial guys like paywall like on YouTube or something like that. You have to do your due diligence. But once you do your due diligence, right, and you invest into that, that'll save you so much time and money that it is insane. That $50 that I spent there probably just saved me $100,000 in my business, just because I know extra things that I wouldn't have known before I subscribed and stuff like that. And it's only like what, $50. So that's stuff that I would really look out for. Just investing in yourself, because investing in yourself is always the best investment. And that really, really, that like, this is very much a hard hitter. I should just bold that real quick, because you need to invest in yourself, no matter if it's a degree. Most people think a degree is like all you need. Like, literally invest in stuff like public speaking, right? Learn how to be a public speaker, like a class, right? What else is like a good investment? Stuff like that. Like certifications, right? Little stuff that'll like just make you better as a person in general. Because this will go a long way, guys. Like these soft skills, like public speaking. Oh Lord, those will go for those soft skills. Guys, like people think that, oh, like computer science. Like, let's say you got a computer science degree. People think that that's gonna take them far, but what actually takes you far, like especially if you're trying to move up in a business, is learning soft skills like public speaking, how to properly like approach somebody, how to speak to somebody, how to listen to somebody. Like that is, a lot of people don't know how to do that, and if you know how to do that, you're already ahead of the game. So little stuff like that will actually make a huge impact, along with hard skills like programming and stuff, if you know how to do that, to the end of the day. And this will make you a lot of money, if you have hard skills. So I would definitely invest in that for sure, because you never know when you'll need it here. Let's see. Boom. Another thing is basically open-mindedness, right? So if I were to come into the space and I would have had a closed mind, what would have happened was I would have never like found 90% of the solutions we found, because I would have assumed, and assumptions are for, I would have assumed that something else was like the right answer in general, because I didn't take the time to actually do my due diligence. You're going to see a lot of this repetitively. Due diligence, assumptions are for. You're going to see a lot of this. This is like literally just soft business skills in general. So literally, if you keep an open mind and you don't, like, if you approach something with a first person's principle, which I would really much like have you guys research, like you want to have a first principle type thinking, right? And this will actually help you a lot in solving problems, because it's one thing to find a problem to solve. There's another thing to actually solve that problem. And a great way to solve problems is first principle thinking. So that is one actually major thing. Damn, this is like a lot of value, guys. Like, you have no idea. Like, if I were to look at this, like for me, like, oh my God, literally like every one of these are extremely valuable. You guys have no idea. And it's probably like, it's like, I could go into a whole stream about each one of these things. No problem. But I'm just trying to get the overall basis so you guys can have that. And then you guys can do your own research and like learn like on your own, because you guys have to learn. You guys have to learn how to learn, basically. A lot of people like from college and stuff, or like from high school, like a lot of people don't know how to learn. But you guys really have to learn. Wow, that rhymed. But another thing which will put you ahead of the game is enjoying, like tricking your brain into enjoying, trick your brain into enjoying education. So one of the major things that I feel like made a huge impact, like when I was actually learning optimizations, was a lot of my and I could tell from my YouTube algorithm. So a lot of my YouTube algorithm used to be like basketball stuff, Call of Duty stuff, like how to get like this season 1 update and stuff like that. But if you look at my YouTube now, like I don't know if I could show you guys. And I try to not like learn as much anymore because you can't work all the time, right, guys? So if you look at my YouTube now, it's this right here, opportunity cost, right? Software development, like because I'm looking to add on like a software developer, so I'm like learning all like the back end stuff and like how to actually provide this person value. Um, multi-million dollar empire much. Your YouTube your YouTube algorithm really shows like really much who you are and stuff like that. So basically like strategies for like marketing and stuff like that, habits, like all of that stuff like shows up on YouTube and stuff like that. So I developed like a niche. I developed like the skill to just love learning, which is like pretty weird, but that's just like what I like to do. I like to watch like educational videos, and a lot of my friends like call me weird for that and stuff like that. But I really much enjoy like educational videos, like even if it's what is that one podcast? The Stanford Hugh Hillerman podcast or something like that. Like I love that podcast. So as long as you learn how to do this, like everything else is gonna be easy. Like it's going to be easy. DJ Academics, yeah, that's one thing. DJ Academics, dude. That is literally like when I want to. You have to now with this. You have to learn how to give your mind a break because if you don't give yourself a break, what's gonna happen is all that stuff that you learn is gonna be like in your mind and unusable. So you always have to give your brain a break when it needs it. Do not try to overstress yourself. Do not try to burn yourself out. Give yourself a break, guys. Trust me. Like the one thing that I still have to learn is giving yourself a break. Because in business, it's easy to like always go push, 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 push. But you need to refuel. Like you can't just like push forever. A car is gonna go broke. You need to refuel and give yourself a break because this is one of the most important things because you're just gonna burn out. Like you do not want to burn out for sure. So let me see what else here. These are just like a little bit. I'm not really trying to go into the. Maybe I will make a series on a deep dive of this stuff, and like the analytics and stuff like that. But I'm not really trying to go there today. I'm trying to give you guys the overall general basis because I feel like a lot of you guys are smart enough to like go ahead and research all this stuff and like come up with it on your own, so you guys could skip all like the stuff, the mistakes that I made. So you guys have all of this, and this is a lot of notes actually. It's crazy. All of these little things can all make just a YouTube video, each one of them, which is crazy. Another thing, I don't know who needs to hear this, but a lot, right? A lot of skills in college do not translate to the real life. So what you have to do is you have to find tangible skills, that make a great impact in real life. So like let's say for example, like if you're doing like computer science, right? You don't want to go into like a company talking about like the theory of it and stuff like that. You want to go in like trying to solve or trying to just improve like situations that basically help the company's top line revenue or something like that, or help the company get leads and stuff. You want to be doing stuff that actually like make a huge impact because that's how you get like promoted and stuff like that. And in business, it's the same exact way. Like I don't think any of my skills, well, I feel like my research skills from college like really did help. But other than that, I don't think like a lot of my skills like really translated well like to business in general. Because college is more about getting you ready like to be in the workforce and stuff. Business is completely it's a totally different beast here. So it just depends. Becoming the best of the best. Duh. Oh yeah. Oh man, this is one thing I really had to learn right here. So another thing that I very much had to learn, and this was probably the hardest thing for me to learn in general, is that being right doesn't matter, guys. Nobody cares. Like literally, I had to learn this real quick. Really quick. Because I invested so much time into like getting some answers, right? I invested so much like resources into getting some answers, and I would always try to force me being right onto someone else. But literally, if that person does not care about like what's right or not, then I shouldn't waste my time in trying to like prove that person wrong. All I have to do is provide it out like to the space, like a Twitter or like a YouTube video or something like that. All I have to do is provide information out to a space. And if somebody decides, and provide the data for people, of course, and if somebody decides that that is right or not, that is up to them. Um, all I did was do my due diligence, and that is all I can do. You cannot change someone's mind, or you don't, not really, you cannot change somebody's mind, but you don't want to waste time changing people's mind. You want to focus on the people that actually that actually are open-minded, that are able to analyze like data and stuff like that, and be able to be like, oh yeah, like this is a very good comparison, or this is a very good opinion in general. And they're not coming in with like you want to stray away from people that are coming in with overall opinions, or overall like one side or the other, without doing their due diligence or work. So that is one thing that I really, this is one of the hardest things that I've honestly learned, because I had to set aside my ego, right? Because it doesn't matter. This does not make me money. What makes me money is solving problems. Being right does not make me money. All I can do is just put out what I think is right and the data that backs it up. And if somebody doesn't agree with that, they don't agree with it. And I could just help the people, or help. What you can do is help the people that actually want help. Do not focus on the critics. Oh Lord, oh Lord. I wish I knew this one. Do not focus on critics or people who aren't going to buy your product or service anyway. So a lot of the times, what would happen was, when we posted something in regards to like some new like update, or some new like data and stuff like that that we found, we would get a lot of critics, guys. And what critics mean is, if you're getting more critics, it like equals you doing something right. And that is really a fact. So literally, we would get like a lot of critics, because we were like on the come up and stuff like that, with optimizations and stuff. Like, and we would post like videos trying to provide people value in general, and critics would always try to comment something that basically like tries to prove us wrong or something like that. So do not focus your time on those people, because those people aren't making you any money. All they are doing is just adding to your engagement, and that is a good thing. Let them keep like being there. Like, let them just like, don't even delete their tweet, don't hide it, just let them keep being there, because any kind of attention is great attention, right? Because all this person is doing, whether they make a YouTube video about you, whether they like disdain your service, whether like they want to make a bad post about you, it really doesn't matter. And this person wasn't going to buy from you anyway. You don't have to waste your time on this. People that actually care and actually see, or actually are open-minded about stuff, they will do their due diligence and then provide their own research and see like what's right and what's wrong. The people that believe like these critics and stuff, like off the rip, without like any kind of like backed up data or anything like that, you don't have to worry about those people. You don't want those people as your customer anyway. So don't worry about the critics, guys. If it's something serious, then you could post like a just an honest video about like what's going on and stuff. But the more critics you have, is the more like you're doing something right. I promise you, like, all you have to ask yourself is this. Hold on. All you have to ask yourself is this, right? Would the critics be commenting or focusing on you if you weren't doing something right. If you were just irrelevant and not doing anything, then they probably wouldn't even give you attention. So the fact that they are giving you attention and their attention, that is a very good thing. And guess what? Your haters are your greatest fans. So critics, what does that mean? Critics usually watch your content longer, right? Review and comment on every tweet. And all this is doing is helping you. Do not give these people the time of your day, guys. Literally, you will thank me later for this. You wasting time on them gives them credibility. Like, that's all it does. So definitely skip this. Skip this whole part. It's going to be hard. Trust me. It is going to be hard, especially like if you're taking off and stuff like that. Skip it. It's not worth it, guys. It is just not worth it. So let's see. Man, I could talk for hours on first principles. I've been talking about that a lot lately. Yeah, first principles is low-key slept on. You see first principles? If you want to learn how to think, like you want to think in first principles, because this is going to make like just solving problems easy. Like it's just like, what is business about? Business is about solving problems. How do you solve problems? You use first principles to solve problems. End of story, easy, simple. That is how you solve problems. Because with the first principles, what it basically does is it kind of does, it makes sure you look at every aspect of like the problem that you're trying to solve, just to make sure that you're not missing anything weird. And you will have a greater understanding of that problem if you look at it from all of those aspects in general. So you have to come at it from a simple standpoint. You just can't like skip. Can we boost like FPS? Oh, yes, we can. Problem solved. That's not how it works right here. So it would be like, can you boost FPS? How can you boost FPS? On what computers can you boost FPS? Would it work for like most people? Like it's a lot. So you're gonna ask yourself a lot of questions, and this is honestly doing the best due diligence if you learn how to solve issues like this. So let's continue. The scary thing about first principles is that if you don't consistently update them, they're just based on your experience, which can mess you up. Yeah, that is true. You always have to just think it. Oh man, it is rough. It is hard to think like this, but it is definitely something that pays off in general. Let me see here. Boom, 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 boom. What else? Okay, so I'm gonna go from 0 to 100. Let's go from 0 to 10,000. What did I learn from 0 to 10,000? Boom, right? So what I learned from 0 to 10,000 is that I had a scarcity mindset because, guys, I was an immigrant like coming up in this country and stuff like that, and we really didn't have a lot and stuff like that. So I was always on the defensive. And you really don't want to, especially like the younger you are, you really don't want to be in the defensive. You want to be on the offensive, just tackling like any problem that you have, and just solving issues in general. Because the offense, when you're on the defense, you're gonna lose. To someone that's actually playing. You can never score on defense. You can always have a chance to score on offense. So you always want to be in an offensive mindset, and you never want to be in a scarcity mindset where you're thinking, oh, like, is this gonna fail? Like, should I keep this money? Should I just save it in a bank account? You always want to go on the attack, guys. Trust me. The reason why I was able to scale from zero to 10,000 to 0 to 100,000 is because I just went on the absolute attack. And that's what it takes, honestly. You cannot be scared to be able to go on the attack here. And the more you go on the attack, the more that you can make calculated risk, and the easier it gets. So literally, it balances out to the end of it. Doubt. I had a lot of doubt, and I always asked myself, like when I was always starting out, like, is this going to actually work and stuff? And doubt is good sometimes, but most of the time it's just like a negative cycle of thinking, and this is just wasting time. What I could have been doing during the time that I was having doubt and stuff like that is I could have been like learning like what, for example, like some kind of coding language or something, or like some kind of extra skill that will basically solve those like insecurities that I had, because I was looking for something to fall back on. And honestly, like in business you have to go full send. Like some businesses you can be like, okay, this is a side hustle and stuff like that, but if you want like a real business, you kind of always have to go full send. And then you can like, once it scales up to a certain amount, then you could like delegate stuff where you're not in it or impacting it as much. However, like in the beginning, you kind of have to like full send with every business that you do here. Um, and like from like the 0 to 10,000, like I realized I was having like a lot of late nights, like right now, all nighters. It was a lot of sacrifices, guys. This is probably like one of the hardest times where I worked, like the hardest I've ever worked in my life. And like I worked harder than if I had a job. So I probably worked like a good 80 to 100, 80 to 90, what's it, 90 hours per week without even realizing it, like without even flinching. This is what I was working. And if I was, if I didn't have like somebody to do or something like that, I was always researching and like just basically trimming my, I was trimming my sword, getting my skills ready, because at this time we weren't working with professional like players and stuff. But I always told myself, like in this 0 to 10,000, because you always want to be prepared. If I got one professional player that I can just do like this optimization or like, or show this value that I could give to them. If I could show one pro player this value that I could provide them, then it's a wrap. Like that's this business is going to like just explode. And guess what happened when I got that first player? The business basically exploded. So that's when we went from 1 to 100,000. Right. So 1 to 100,000. Like we finally got like the rep. We finally got like that pro player, the first pro player that we did. And he basically went crazy because he's never seen this before. And it solved like a huge problem for them. And that's where I was able to show my full potential and full value, because I was always thinking like in this 0 to 10,000 mindset of what I have to do to be prepared for this moment when I meet this guy. And I was prepared at that moment, so I was able to take advantage of that opportunity, and that literally like set my business off. So if I didn't do that, I don't think I would be here today at all. But I put in so much work just to be able to provide these type of people like the most value I can. And that's really like why my business like is what it is today. And I couldn't have done that without putting in the work. Um, Let me see. So the 100,000 is a little bit different. So the 100,000 is put in like your 10,000 hours. So you're basically trying to master like the skills that you have, because you already probably like already know the skills, but you're trying to master it, see like what people like, what people don't like. You're trying to get all like that lean fat. You're trying to cut your onion, and you want to take off the skin, and you want to keep the stuff that really like makes you money or really provides a lot of value. So that's what I was focusing on like during the 0 to 100,000 mark. And this was one of like the craziest marks like that I've ever had. This was probably like more impactful than the 0 to 1 million mark. Because 0 to 100,000 like in sales, like this is probably the hardest. This is probably the hardest barrier to like break for sure. Because you're gonna have to get a lot of it. All takes momentum, and I realize that business is all momentum, and you have to have a lot of momentum to pass 100,000, depending on what you're selling. Um, I always I realized a good thing that I did was I always kept a beginner's mind. And Devin Nash like goes into it, but I didn't realize what I was doing until like literally I've heard some like YouTube videos and stuff like that about what I was doing. So I always kept a beginner's mind and like use like the first principles to tackle like a problem, and that way I was able to expand my skills. So instead of just like doing internet, which is what we started off with, guys, I was able to dive into PCs and master that. I was able to dive into like stream and dual PC setups and master that. Like we were able to go into a lot of stuff, which created a moat for us because our competitors like can't really do all this stuff. And because we're able to always learn and just improve, that is one of our greatest advantages, like over like everybody else. Because no matter what, like even if I get off this today, I'm probably watching a YouTube video about like how to like tweak your internet just a little bit better, or just watching like a PC video about the upcoming like processors that are coming out, like with the AMD 7000 and stuff. So I'm always putting in time to just improving myself, and that is like why you're able to scale from like 0 to 100,000 to 0 to 1 million. Because if I were to stick with internet, I probably would have sticked under 0 to 100,000 or 0 to 50,000. If I were to stick with this one skill that I started off with, you always got to look for improving, because you gotta like people are gonna catch on, and you have to be fast enough where you're not worried about someone copying you. So what else? I realized this. Mm-mm-mm. How much for your mic? I'll make you a deal. Um, and this guy's saying, is part of the plan having a massive ego on Twitter? So this is what I'm talking about, guys. So do not pay that attention. Now, how much for your mic? I'll make you a deal. Oh, I thought this was eBay Live. So basically, if that person really wanted help, like for example, like that person right there, guys, if that person really wanted help, guys, he would go to like our support or like website, try to like contact like one of our support specialists where we would provide him the help that he needs, but he is not looking for help. Like he's just looking for attention. That is a critic. So you don't pay attention to people like that. Everybody that gets our optimization knows that we have support specialists on 24/7 to help them with their needs. So if they're looking to like get attention like that, we do not provide it to them. I'll think about like providing these notes to you guys for sure. I probably have to take off my like income of it, but I'll provide you guys these notes for sure, like to the end. Whoever stays to the end will get like the link to the notes and stuff like that. Um, May I ask what you think on things like calypto latency guides? May I ask what you think on things like calypto latency guides? Irrelevant. Basically, like what? Because we like to test stuff, guys, and a lot of the stuff that we've seen like in our industry is people like saying that, oh, this makes the biggest change, like this makes the biggest FPS difference in general, like this will change how much latency that you get as a whole and stuff like that, and they're overinflating the value that it's actually providing them, and they're like making full-on documentations like that guide to show or like to like kind of provide you guys with the essence that they know what they're talking about and stuff. But when it comes down to it, like they're not showing the data of like what kind of change does it make. Like it with stuff like that, you have to stay away from it. Like with guides like that, you really want to stay away from that type of stuff, guys. So just be careful, like with stuff like that you read in general, because a lot of stuff on the internet, guys, I'm gonna tell you, like 99% of the stuff on the internet, it's just not like the best. Uh, so was there any incidents where you, the business owner, had to spend your money to fix a mistake? Yeah. So that is actually a good question right there. So I'm gonna write that one down. So, boom, bang. Yes. So all the time, right? So basically, like, let's say, somebody like commits fraud, right? And they basically tell their bank, hey, like, I didn't get like the optimization in general. And a lot of people try this and they don't realize that they're like, we had a lot of people close, like, I'm not even gonna get into that. So somebody tries to commit fraud. They basically tell their bank, "Oh, I never showed up to like the optimization, right?" And then like the bank, what it would do is like they would try to charge back like for that, and that chargeback would take out of like my earnings in general, and it would cost me $15 plus the $150 or whatever like the optimization is in the time plus whatever the tech makes. So I'm actually losing from that person like purchasing that product. I'm actually losing like a good $300 to $400 from that person purchasing that product. And this costed me a ton of money. However, I had to, instead of throwing money at it, like I said before, you don't want to just throw money at stuff and just like mark it off like your books and stuff. I had to implement a system which prevented this. So now, anytime somebody like tries to do this, we have Zoom recordings that show them that they're on the call and they're actually providing the service. And then the bank's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, like you lied to us. Like let me just shut down your account in general." So that happens like a lot now, where somebody like tries to like kind of like finesse, but it really doesn't work because we have like the Zoom recordings. So this is one thing I really had to initially throw my money at, but it was better that I just implemented a system that fixed it because that's going to save me thousands, like implementing that system. Another thing is like, let's say like Zlaner, like Zlaner had a PC that had a bad graphics card or a bad GPU. And we can't control like if their GPU is good or bad or anything like that. We can't control that, right? So what we had to do was send him a new PC, right? Because this is a huge creator right here. Like we have to make sure that he's good. So we sent him. I paid out of my money and I sent him a fully brand new PC here to make sure he's good. Even though the GPU wasn't my fault or anything like that, I still had to take responsibility as a business owner and make sure like people like that are good. So these are some things that like you really have to like you're gonna not I don't want to like do these type of things, right? But if you're really like a responsible owner and stuff like that, you want to think about like the reputation of your business first, and you want to just implement systems like this and spend money where it's like needed in order to solve like a problem like this. So these are like just unfortunate problems in general, like to solve, like these right here, because you would never think, but you just gotta solve it because that's just how the world is. So these are types of like situations where I had to like spend money to fix it. Um, so yeah, but I don't regret this at all. Z-Laner's awesome. These people, oh lord, I'm not even gonna talk about those people. But let's continue. Boom. Yeah, and any kind of questions that you guys have, like that you're thinking about, like for your future business or something, like if you do decide to open a business or anything, just let me know and I'll like go ahead and answer it because this is getting deleted after, for sure. Let me see. Another thing I learned. Another thing I learned is content is king. So one way I really learned how to scale like my business um was through content. So and it was weird because I was scaling through Twitter. And Twitter's a destination platform, but I was lucky because remember it's about like what boat you're in. Twitter like started doing like this recommendation service and all that stuff. So they started like implementing an algorithm. So I already had like my audience then and it just like amplified. So I learned that content is absolutely king. And this is one great way to scale your business because it's not going to be not as expensive as like partnerships, right? And oh, I'm faded. Boom. Partnerships, not as expensive as marketing, and it's more consistent, right? So if you learn how to like create a content engine, which I'm in the process of doing, like I have an editor, I have like a thumbnail artist, like we need to create a content engine that could continue rolling. Then that will be a big moat for your business. Because once that content engine gets rolling, um then you're basically like your own like partner, right? You're your own sponsor. And that is like the best position to be in because you don't have to pay like a large sum into someone else. Even though sometimes it's better to do that, you can pay that large sum basically and invest it back into your business, which is perfect. And you can always ensure that you are like showing up and doing everything like possible to improve it. So content is absolutely king, and this is one of the stuff that made me grow from like the 0 to 100,000 to like the million mark, because I just absolutely crushed it like on content. Not as much as I should. On Twitter content I crushed it, but I should have gone to YouTube, TikTok. I should have been doing all of that, and I should have delegated and create a system where I can leverage my time to do all of that. So that's one mistake I did make, but I'm glad that I did like the Twitter like content and stuff like that, and like people are catching up and trying to like just mimic like what we do and stuff like that, which is a good sign. So I'm glad that I actually did this, because this is huge. This is definitely one of the reasons like we grew. One of the top reasons that we grew, for sure. Now let me see. Oh, this is a huge one. Oh Lord, let me. You cannot make everyone happy. You can't. Don't even try it. This is one thing that was like one of the hardest things to learn for me. Like, cause guys, like I don't only care about like professional gamers and stuff like that. Like I care about like all gamers in general. I really do care. Like for example, for our tuned PCs, um, I basically provided like a lot of my initial profit went into providing small creators with tuned PCs. That's because I just care about like just gamers just becoming like their full potential in general. And that's where I wanted to put my profit. Like, do I miss like the money that I could have made? Not really. Like I changed someone's life like doing that, and I just feel like good doing that, right? But you got to make sure that you know that you cannot make everybody happy, no matter what. No matter if you were perfect, no matter if like you were open minded, no matter if like you were showing the absolute respect to everyone, you're not gonna make everybody happy. Like for example, like we just saw in my chat here that a guy say like I had a massive like ego on Twitter and stuff like that. When in reality, like we're spending like I'm spending like a lot of money like for somebody to read all our DMs, make sure every like single person that DMs us and stuff like that gets taken care of. Like I'm spending my own time like replying to like tweets, like even if you're a small creator, to ensure like that you guys have the best knowledge possible and stuff. But that person might not think of it like that because they're not seeing like what's going on like behind the scenes and stuff. They don't see the kind of work that you put in. So you cannot make everybody happy, guys. Don't even try to. Do not even try to, because this will burn you out, and this burned me out. So literally, and let me hold on. Do not try to make everyone happy, please. That is the fastest way to burn out. You might as well just go on vacation. Might as well just quit what you're doing now if you're trying to do that. Let me see. Aren't you using new? We do, Astral. We do. So let's see. Man, I still struggle with like that happiness thing. Um, let's see. Another thing I realized is that you are going to start having people depending on you. So this is actually like a weird feeling because I never would have thought like that I would have like just overall like contractors or like any kind of employee or anything like that. So this is like one of the stuff that I was introduced to. But like people have families, guys, and like you gotta be on your A game, because they're not only does my life like matter like anymore, like when it comes to this whole business thing, like you have people very much depending on you with families, with kids that need to go to school and stuff like that. Like you got to make sure that those people are like taken care of and they're like providing their families like with the value that they need. As long as they're providing like the business with the value that the business needs in general. If they're definitely doing that, then you owe it to them to provide the value that they need in return. So this is like one of the major things that this was like a new kind of experience for me because I never had this before. And this is one of like my biggest motivators in general, because like a lot of some of our techs and stuff like that, like they do have like kids and stuff. And we gotta make sure that we're like pulling in enough so they get taken care of. Because for example, like, and I can tell you guys right now, like, since we're like just being open about anything. So basically, like, if we take the average of like what my techs made, like, I think this year so far, they're on pace to, they're right now, average, they probably made $78,000 this year. Just doing this role. So basically, like, this is a very good role. Like, this is like a very good role. So we make sure that anybody that's like on our team and stuff like that that like needs to be taken care of, like we make sure if they're putting like the value in, the time in, we make sure that they're taken care of and they're paid well. So that's one thing that I'm like really working on, especially like if they're like loyal and stuff like that, because I've seen what the other way can cause, and it would, you, like, just don't even waste time, guys, and try to lowball. Just like pay people what they're worth, and when you pay them what they're worth, like, then there's no problems. Right. So let's see. Do you ever deal with procrastination? Yes, everybody does. Like, if somebody's saying like they don't deal with procrastination, they're probably lying to you. I'm a human, of course I deal with procrastination. How to, I would think a better question is um how to, what is a better question? How to solve, or how to stop procrastination. I'm going to tell you guys a very big secret. You guys ready for this? This is probably like one of the biggest value adds I've ever learned. Oh my God. Like, this is literally a brain hack. You guys are ready? Are you guys ready? I'm going to win until you guys are ready. Is everybody taking notes right now? Take notes of this right now if you ever procrastinate in your life, and this will solve it. And every time you think of procrastinating, just do this, and I believe, I'm telling you 100%, this will solve it if you listen, right? You guys ready? Only make one decision at a time, or think about your next decision or choice or next choice. Do not go farther than that. Do not go farther than that. Yes, you could think about the future and stuff like that. Your brain sucks at your brain sucks at like predicting the future. Like, I would have never thought this would happen to me. Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Your brain sucks at predicting the future, and you looking into the future, right, is wasting like a lot of time unless you're setting goals and stuff like that for yourself, or analyzing like the goals that you've had and you're trying to see like if you're on the right path. The one biggest way to solve procrastination is make that next decision, like that next decision that you're about to make, just think about it. Don't think about like what effects it'll do tomorrow. Don't think about like the day after that. Always think the next decision. Like, so basically, like right now, right now I have the decision to either go into like the financials, or I can go and answer you guys' questions. I'm going to answer you guys' questions. When I get into my room, it's either I clean my room or I basically like go to work or something like that. If I'm just thinking about that one decision, there's a higher chance that I could control that decision. And that's the way you basically hack procrastination. You will never procrastinate if you think about this method and actually do it. I promise you. This, like, oh my God. This right here, like, literally I would have paid somebody like $3,000 like to tell me this, because this is gold right here. Oh Lord. I wish I knew this. Like, especially in college. I wish I knew this hack. And if you try it, like literally just try it for a day. Like tomorrow, guys, wake up, be like, yo, listen, I'm only making one decision at a time, and it's only going to be, I'm only going to think about my next decision and be self-aware about my next decision. And I bet you won't procrastinate. It's just not going to happen. because your brain doesn't have to waste all of that energy like on that extra stuff that you're thinking about in the future, and you could focus on that one decision now and you're going to be able to execute it. It's like the greatest hack of all time. Let's continue here. Might have chicken nuggets, Jesus. All right, so Jesus, that is one big procrastination. I cannot tell you guys enough how big of a hack that is. You just got to learn how to like train your mind, guys. Like as long as you learn how to control your mind, like you will be almost dominant. Like your mind is a great servant, but a horrible master. And your mind's very important on like where you will like be or in the future, right? So what you want to do is you never want to depend on motivation. Motivation's how you start things, right? Like, so that's how you like start things to get it like taken care of and stuff, but you're not going to end things with only your motivation. What you have to do, like, it's more than motivations. You have to create systems and surround yourself in an environment that will allow you or provide you the best chance to succeed. And this is so oh man, I wish I knew this. So literally, like, you have to create the environment that you think will provide you the best chance to succeed. So let's say like I'm trying to, like, for example, like somebody trying to lose weight. They'll have the motivation to wake up and hit the gym like for the first day, right? But will they have that same motivation the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day? They're not going to be consistent. So it is a great idea for this person to get a trainer, right? A personal trainer, because the personal trainer is going to hold them accountable. And that is key. You need, like, for example, my content, the reason why like I delegated and got like an editor and a thumbnail like designer in general is because they hold me accountable. Like they need to get paid. And literally, like when I don't make content, they're like, Cornel, like I'm not seeing like a thumbnail from you in a while. Are you good? Like, Cornel, like, do you have any videos to upload? Like, why are you not posting content here? So that is very like, oh Lord, I cannot tell you, if you want to actually get like a goal done and stuff, you have to create systems and surround yourself in like the correct environment that will allow you to succeed. A lot of people, like I had a lot of motivation and stuff like that, but I can tell you right now, the motivation was not enough for me to like execute on everything. Like you need to surround yourself in an environment for you to succeed. And as long as you have that motivation plus the environment, that goal turns like 100 times easier. 100 times easier. This is what equals success. That right there. Most people do the first thing. They think like the first thing's that all that matters. And the reason why you can't get anything done is because your environment's wrong. Your environment's just completely wrong. You're trying to study, for example, and this is like a huge thing that I did when I began. I sold my PS4 because I knew that I would not be able to focus on like my craft if I had that PS4 around. I had to sell it. I had to sell it in order to do this. And that was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because I cannot put myself or trust myself around like a console or something like that, because I was addicted at the time to gaming. So I put myself in an environment that did not have that forced me. It's going to force you to be bored, and your brain is going to absolutely hate it. Your brain is going to dread it. But guess what? Your brain is going to get better because of it. So literally, like if you're trying to study, you have to sell the console. No, don't trust yourself. You have to put away the phone. You like if you're trying to like go to sleep, right? But you're always on your phone. You have to lock the phone with a lock that you don't know the code to. You cannot, you do not want to depend on yourself for that. You have to put your phone away, like in another room, like when you're trying to study. You have to give your friend like the phone and tell them no matter what, pay him $20 no matter what, do not hand me this phone or something like that. you got to do what you got to do. And as long as you do that, you could get stuff done real quick. The problem is that people don't want to do this stuff because they know that it's going to force them to do the actual work. That's the problem. But if you're really trying to get stuff done, this is the way to do it. You cannot just have motivation and just get, nobody's just like, oh yeah, like, let me just like be productive today. You know, like nobody just wakes up every day and does that. You want to control your environment. Your environment makes you. Your environment is who you are. The 5 people that you are around equals who you are. Remember that. That's the 5 people that determines where you are going to go. That is really the 5. Like, I didn't understand that. I thought this was complete cap. Like, I thought this was like just like trolls, but it really very much impacts who you are. And you have no idea how much it impacts who you are. Exactly. Like 2 years ago, like when I wasn't doing this, like when I was gaming, I was around gamers. Like gaming with a console. Like I had distractions all over my environment. As soon as I cleaned up my environment, look, what is this stream about today? As soon as I cleaned up that environment, same motivation, same everything, because I was motivated back then, I just couldn't get stuff done. Look at what stream I'm making today. So that, like, just take me, if you don't believe, just take me as like an example, like with this, because this is huge. Literally clean up your environment. And it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. But the best people like that actually are impactful and that make the most money and that make the most impact in the world and provide the most value, trust me, their environment is squeaky clean. Like if you went into, just look at your, whoever you look up to, right? And just ask them, like, if you could just chill out with them for a day, and you'll see like what I mean. You'll see what I mean. So let's see here. That's some dope advice. Thank you. Hey, no problem, boss. Can I work for you? So here's the thing. Here's a little hack I learned. If you want a job, right? Here's a little hack I learned. You never ask for it. You always show the amount of like motivation or like conviction you have like regarding what they are doing. So this is what I'm telling you, like that Devin Patreon, bro. So basically like and this is not even I'm not even getting paid for this, guys. I'm just letting you know. One hack that you can do to like get jobs like very much easily is like you can just come up to people and just be like oh yeah, I love your work. Like, can I learn more about this? Can I learn more about that? And then like if you do that, then you come back the next week and you actually show them that you actually took the due diligence to actually learn that stuff like in a great way, and you're looking for more and learning more like for a particular role that you're like doing and stuff, then that is like literally like a job hack. Like they're gonna hire you because you have the motivation and the conviction to do like that, those things that like most people aren't willing to do, even if it's for free. That is one way to really get a job. So if somebody like came up to me and they're like, oh, I want a job. Okay. That's cool. But if somebody came up to me and they were like, Cornel, like I built you this like system that can like speed up your optimization processes in general. And this is what you can use this is documentation of like what you guys do to be able to provide like this much value to your customers. This is like a preset email that you could use like for your customers in general to follow up, or a survey. This is how you can increase like your profit margins from like being able to like obtain this much value or like adding this product. As you can see like from this data here, like if you came up like that, oh man, what do you think I'm saying? What do you think I'm saying? Like literally, I mean, and most people aren't willing to do that. I'm gonna be honest, most people aren't willing to do that. but that's the way, like, you can almost guarantee a job like that. Like, I'm telling you, like, almost guaranteed. And if you're actually like, you can't just show it there, get the job, and then just do nothing. If you're like actually like that, you'll move up quick, quick, quick. Always realize, like, when it comes to a job, it's not about how much you work. It's about the impact. It's about the impact you make on, like, the company, and how are you making that company money. That is the only two things that matter. Literally, if you make the company more money, guess what? You make more money. You get the raise. If you make more impact, guess what? You get more money. You get the raise. That's what companies are looking for. That's why a lot of people, they're like, oh yeah, like, I only have to do like the bare minimum of my job and stuff like that. You're putting yourself in a bad spot, and you're putting yourself in a losing position, because the person that goes above and beyond, like, to be able to do this, they're gonna get the raise. They're gonna, like, get the ROI from their time of doing that, and then you're gonna wonder, like, in 2 years, 3 years, like, when you're in a company, like, why haven't I raised up, like, or just been promoted or anything? It's because you weren't thinking of this stuff. This is what companies love. I'm telling you, I am a company. Like, literally, this is what they love. These kind of people are very rare. That's why we love them. And I am willing, and other companies are willing to pay these people a lot of money, because they can make that kind of impact that could change your business. And that's really the type of people that I'm looking for, like, from now on, like, people that can make a very much big impact on my business, because that matters. That really does matter. Like, the person that's like 9 to 5, like, they can work for my competitor, and hey, that's all cool. They're not working for me though. So literally, like, I forgot who said that, but this is what matters. And companies, as you see, is willing to pay a lot of money if you provide a lot of value. Um, this does not mean working harder. It is working. This means providing more impact from your work. So always be in a position that you could provide, like, a lot of impact. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you definitely want to hit up the support, and they'll be able to take care of you for sure. There's two things I'd like to add to this. Do things that are good for you won't always feel good. I wish I did, but it doesn't. Doing things that are good for you won't always feel good. Yeah, that is true. Give yourself a small, like, carrot to start going. For me, it's music. When I don't want to do something, I just focus on enjoying the music. Eventually, I'll either finish the task or focus on it. That is true. That is true. A lot of times I realize that people don't just set themselves up right. Like, once you learn, like, the tactics, like, to set yourself up right, like, once you learn how to control your habits, like, life's easy. Life is easy. Like, literally, like, that's it. Like, as long as you learn how to control your habits in your mind, you could do anything. Like, I'm serious, you could legit do anything. It's just that 99% of people don't know how to do this. And that's why 99% of people are stuck where they are, because they don't know how to do this. So if you want to be in that, like, that stage where you can, like, really make an impact on yourself, you need to learn how to control your habits in your mind. Do overdoing for sure. Theo's super anal about this. His computer not having distractions. It's hilarious but true. Yeah, literally, like, you just gotta clean. Like, the other day, I realized I was just getting into so much, like, applications and stuff, that I wasn't being productive. So guess what, guys? I completely resetted Windows, wiped everything. So my files are somewhere in, like, some folder somewhere that I don't know. Wiped everything from the start, and as soon as I wiped the windows, I am so much more productive now. It's insane. It's all about your environment. Like, I got this, like, office, like, right here, or like this room, so I can control my environment in general. So I'm not always like I'm not always like, if I go out of this office, it's all about, like, just having a personal life, having fun and stuff. If I'm in this office, it's game time. It is game time. It is time to do work. And that is what my, like, body is trained to do. Oh, I'd love to hear it, Glassy. Oh yeah, Minj. Go ahead and send it again on the Cornel DMs, and I'll like be sure to take care of it. But let me move on here. And of course, if you guys have any questions, you could still ask this. So, this is, oh Lord. So we're still on the 0 to 100,000, right? These are two big ones right here. Money means nothing without time and health. And then we have double down at what you are good at, delegate the rest. Oh Lord. Oh man, if I only knew this. If I only knew this. So basically, like when I was first starting out, like I felt like I could do all the optimization by myself and stuff. I didn't hire anybody to do it because I didn't feel like anybody was competent enough to do it. When it was in reality that I'm not competent enough to like train it, and I needed to learn how to be a trainer, how to be a leader in general to be able to get that done. As soon as I delegated, like the optimizations and stuff like that, and train people the correct way to do it, zoop, literally line zoop. That's all it is. Because I'm not the bottleneck. So basically, you want to remove yourself. Well, I'll wait until 0 to 1 million because that goes into that. But you want to make sure that you are spending time on your health, and you want to make sure that you are actually like living life and stuff. If you are working hard, that doesn't mean that you're getting shit done. I'm sorry. A lot of people think that working hard means getting stuff done, right? It's never about working harder. Working harder means that you're not doing, especially if you own a business, working harder means that you are not doing your role. You're not delegating enough, right? And you need to get it down to the point where you're so good at like, you're just doubling down at like what you do, and then you just delegate like everything else, right? So like for example, like I'm really good at like for example, I would say like creating content. Um Creating content, research, I'm good at that. And like etc., right? I need to delegate, right? DMs, for example, emails, what else? Delegate DMs, emails, claims, like all the stuff that doesn't pay me, I have to delegate it because so I could double down on this stuff. Cause this, if I'm spending my time doing this, I'll never grow. If I double down on this stuff and delegate this stuff, I'll grow almost 2 times faster. And that's what you kind of have to learn. Like no matter where you are, you gotta kind of learn this. Like everybody, I believe everybody should have a virtual assistant. Like in my opinion, because that's going to help you a lot. But you need to delegate like all this stuff, especially, and this is especially the case because we're about to go to 0 1 million, which is like pretty crazy. So 0 to 1 million. This is especially the case. I will not make like the business would not be at this point if I didn't delegate anything. If I didn't delegate anything, we would be probably at 0 to 500,000. I would be tired, exhausted, burnt out, not able to spend my money, not able to reinvest my money, not able to focus on social media, have like a competitor like come ahead of us because like we're not making enough money because I'm too burnt out to actually market and spend my money. So it's a constant cycle of burning yourself out and losing. So basically, this what this prevents is that constant cycle of burnout. I remember the first time I burnt out last year, it was not a good feeling, guys. It's just not. And it was due to my ignorance of this. You need to learn how to delegate, especially if you're gonna be like a leader or something like that. You cannot do it all. You can't. It is impossible. You can do it all, but like for example, if I were to do it all, right? If I were to do everything in my business, right? I would probably make a max of 300 to 400 in sales, right? Because I don't have to do it all, like I'm able to hit this. Um, and that's just because I'm just bottlenecked on time. Like there's no way I could do more. There's absolutely no way. Um, and I wouldn't grow. I would just always be capped at this, like no matter what. Yeah, I would make like 300 to 400K actual like money, like in profit, but I would just be capped at this. And I would probably decrease in my growth because I'm not able to advertise. I'm not able to work outside the business, which is important when you're like reach this point. So this point is like working outside the business. So like from all of these points like that we made, like you were inside the business, like you were working inside your own business. Now like you have to focus on working outside your business and making decisions that'll make your business last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. So this is literally where a lot of businesses fail, and the hardest, I believe the hardest part, even though it's the easiest part. Like it's confusing, guys. It is the hardest part because you have to make the right decisions. It's the easiest part because it's the least amount of work compared to all of this. Because you need at this level, and this is what I learned this year, guys. At this level, you need to completely change how like who you are and what you do for a business. At this level, it's not about like working in the business, like doing any of like the nitty gritty stuff anymore. Like at this level, it's not about working hard. Like even though like I still like do that, and it's not the most effective, but basically it's not about working hard. It's about making the right decisions and executing. It is like at this level, like if you're thinking that working hard is going to actually, oh, what the, if you think like working hard is going to make you successful at this level, you have another thing coming. It is complete. Like this year hit me, guys. This year hit me like we were taking off, and like I feel like I have to completely do some compared to last year. What I was doing, I am doing a completely different job, and that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to feel like it, like if you like make it here and stuff, right? So you have to realize that you have to like actually like just operate it and just execute like on like objectives. You have to be able to set goals like for your company, which could be hard. You have to be able to like look at your profit margins, like make sure that you're doing the right things to make the company grow and stuff. Like I know like a big mistake that I made this year is that um we gave away too many PCs. Like we didn't need to do that. Like I could have make a lot more money like just hiring somebody that could provide me more value, like an operations manager or something like that, instead of like giving away these PCs. Because honestly, like these, I didn't get my ROI on these. And if I just kept my money, like I would have probably made more money. So you have to look for things like that, and you have to basically always make decisions based on statistical data, right? So like for example, at the beginning of the year, like I was very, very like stoked to like start Tune PC. We still made a lot of money like from Tune PC and stuff like that, but like I wanted to like start Tune PC, do all this stuff, like get a warehouse, get all that stuff, and I was basically making decisions because I had like a big. I'm like the type of like person that has like a big vision, and I needed like a person that has like a big like operational like kind of mind. But basically, I did like all this like Tune PC stuff, and to the end of the day, like if I just double down like on like just optimization or what I'm good at, and I just added like the Tune PC like as an extra feature and don't really talk about it like that, then I would have probably made like the most money like that. Which is like Tune PC's like exclusive or something. Instead of just launching a full blown PC business, like trying to make everybody happy. Remember, I said that making everybody happy is always a mistake. That's what I was trying to do. So we like launched like 3, 4 different like types of PCs when in reality we should have just launched one PC. We should have just launched the FPS demon, that is it. If you don't want, the best of the best, then hey, you could get your PC like built by this guy, this guy, this guy, and they'll be able to take care of you for like a great price. But we can't, and that's one thing I should have done that I didn't do. So literally, like, what did I learn from this? I learned to double down on what you are good at, and do not you saw this again, like, you see how this constantly comes up, guys. Do not try to make everyone happy, because at the beginning, like, everybody wanted a tune PC and stuff like that. Everybody wanted a tune PC. Everybody wanted like to like get on that new wave and stuff like that. But in reality, like, I realized that you can't. I should have known. I should have like listened to myself from like earlier. If I just wrote this down and just looked back at this, I would have probably been better off, because if I just tried not to make everybody happy, then we would have been in a better place. Because the thing about trying to make everybody happy, guys, it's not a bad thing. So for example, like I get a lot of DMs about tech questions and stuff like that. Like, to the point where last year I got burnt out from it. I got a lot of DMs about tech questions. And I would spend hours on end like trying to answer the DMs like without getting paid or anything like that. And that would actually be counterproductive, because I'm not doing like what makes those, like, I'm not doing what created that sauce in general for them to be able to DM me. I'm doing the opposite and providing only one person value when I could provide thousands of people value. Make a YouTube video about it, do something about it, instead of responding to one DM. So what I did, which I still really don't have to do, but I just do it anyway because I love you guys, delegated like the DMs to like just like one of our community service managers, and he handles like all that stuff for me, just to, so like, let's say like Korean Savage, like he DMs me or something like that, I get to handle that and he gets filtered through, because I cannot handle like everybody, and I won't be as effective, I won't be as like on top of everything if I did, because if I did do that, you guys will never see me, guys. You guys will never see me live or anything. Trust me. I did that last year. It was insane. So literally, do not try to make everyone happy. You have to put yourself first, guys. And like, after you do that, then you'll see how more effective you are when you understand like what your goals are and where you're trying to be. Trust me. Yo, what's good, Korean? How you doing, my brother? Just going through simple notes here. The other thing, diverse skill sets, right? So diversify your skill set. This should honestly be in a 0 to 100,000. Literally, guys, if you haven't noticed, if you switched like the money, like $0 to $1 million into viewers, 0 to 1 million viewers, it's almost the same, if you haven't noticed. But literally, you want to diversify your skill set. So for example, like, I see a lot of creators, don't know how to edit and make a thumbnail. How are you going to be a creator? How are you going to make it if you don't know how to do this? Literally, Korean's a very good example of this. Korean is like the perfect example of this. Do you know how he makes thumbnails? He literally showed me he uses like I think Final Cut to edit. And then he sometimes makes his own thumbnails. He's working smarter, not harder. Simple as that. Simple as that. Because literally, what happens when he works smarter but not harder? He's more consistent. When he's more consistent, he gets more views. And he is who we know him as today, right? Because we would rather someone be more consistent, like especially on YouTube and content and stuff like that. We would rather someone be more consistent than like not be consistent at all. Like that's one thing I've been slacking on YouTube, and that's what I'm focusing on now, and that's why I'm kind of like prepping myself with these like live streams and stuff like that, so I can gain back my ability to do public speaking and stuff, so I can be ready for like those videos and execute. So you really want to be consistent, guys, because consistency is almost everything. Is almost everything. And I already told you guys how to be consistent. The way you be consistent is not through motivations. It is never through motivation. That is the one way you fail. It is always through your environment. Always. Always, dude. So literally, like if you do that, you should, like if you control your environment, you honestly control like anything that goes on in your life, guys. I'm not even trolling. Let's see. As I said before, you have to double down on what works. You have to really realize, because this stage is the most dangerous. This stage right here is the most dangerous, and this is why a lot of businesses fail, because you have options, which is crazy to hear, but you have options and you can pick from options, and depending on which one you pick is whether you fail or succeed. You have options now. And why it's the most dangerous as well, you are comfortable. You're too comfortable. This stage is where people get comfortable because they're making enough money where like they don't have to work as hard. Like if they don't want to, they don't have to like reach for that next goal, or like they don't have to like post a YouTube video today. They're gonna be good, right? But that's where a lot of businesses don't work. Like that is why either like businesses stay small or they don't go to that 0 to 10 million like mark and stuff like that, because they are comfortable. It's not because of they're not making money. Well, they probably aren't making money, but it's not because they're not in the right environment, like they're not this, they're not that. It's because most people, when they get to this point, they get comfortable. And once you get comfortable, guess what happens? You lower you basically lower your overall like value add to people, and that's when stuff starts going downhill. That's when stuff starts going completely downhill here. So you never want to get comfortable, like in life in general. Being comfortable is the enemy. And I will tell you guys that right now. That's why I'm saying like environment. I'm literally like spamming this, because literally if you are comfortable, you are the enemy. If you're still living, for example, if you're still living, if you're like 20 something, like out of college, and you're still living at your parents' house, like, and you haven't like gone out and seen the world yet, like other than college, you're not paying your own rent and stuff like that, you're too comfortable. You don't have anything to lose. You're never going to win. Like you're never going to win because you're never going to take the chance to win. Why would you? You can't. And the people that do push themselves to the next level, they reap all the rewards. Because this is a trap. This is like what is society, like what is everything? Like there is consumers, another thing from Devin Nash's Patreon, producers, right? And what is society trying to make you? This is what society wants you to be. This is what society wants you to be. A consumer. They want you to buy stuff. They don't want you to produce. But who makes the most money? Producers. Who makes the most impact? Producers. Literally, if you ever look at your day or ever look at your week or month, you always want to focus on like just putting yourself in this position. Never be in this position. And a lot of people are in this position. Like for example, like if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, right? You don't want to be watching YouTube videos all day about how to start a YouTube channel. You want to execute and do it. Like you don't want to do that. And I've been down in this rabbit hole, and I'm telling you, this rabbit hole this does not help you. Like doing it actually helps you. And then when you do it, you could look back on it and you could reflect and then improve on there. That is how you actually like make improvements, not looking at videos when you haven't even executed yet. You're just basically, you might as well just watch like a Netflix show if you're doing that. So I would say the number one reason why a lot of people don't make it past this point or even into this point is they get too comfortable. And then they take less risk. What happens when you get too comfortable? You take less risk. You don't want to lose it. You like do less in general, like because you want to like enjoy your life and stuff like that. But it's too early. It's too early to enjoy your life. Because if you think about it, this is, and if you want to bring in numbers like we can. So let's say $1 million, right? In cash, which I don't have. But let's say you make $1 million, right? Times 0.036%. So that's times 3.6%. That's how much you could make per year. Like if the market was, that's like the market average. Like the market average is 3.6%. Market average of like how much you'll make. So if you had 1 million, right? That will net you $36,000 income per year, right? And this is where people mess up. And then you divide that by 12, right? That is 3,000 per month. This is not going to, well, depending on where you live, this is not going to pay your bills. You need to get to the position where it's like 15, I think it's 15 million times 0.036, right? That's 540,000 a year. Like let's say 15 million. If you make the net average, not even more, net, like the market average of growth, right? This is 540,000 a year, right? And this is how I like look at all my goals and like how much I really want to make, because this matters right here. So divided by 12, the problem with goals is nobody actually does the math on anything. So they like, you're like, oh yeah, like I want to be a billionaire, when you don't even realize you don't even have to be a billionaire to like live like really good, honestly, like really good. So basically like with $15 million, if you had $15 million in your bank account or like in assets, that should leverage you 3.6% of your market average, right? Which is pretty low. And then you would make around $540,000 like per year. You wouldn't really pay taxes on this because most rich people, what they do is they take out loans, right? They use borrowed money to like pay their expenses and stuff, and borrowed money isn't taxable. So they're never paying taxes like that, which is crazy. And then like $540,000 per year. Then they're making $45,000 per month. What the hell are you going to do with $45,000 per month? This is where you want to be. Even with 7 million, let's do 7 million times 0.036, 252. This is the minimum. Like, so you need minimum 7 million. And this is might not be how much you need, guys. This is like just basically like my goals in general. So I need to make it 7 million cash or liquid assets, right? So I can make 252,000 per year, right? And then 252,000 divided by 12, that is going to be 21,000 per month, right? And then that's how you know you're set. Like this is financial freedom to me. Like once I pass this point, this is financial freedom. This is financial freedom. Once I get here. If I don't pass this point, I'm never going to have financial freedom because I can never like just live off like a passive income because I won't have enough. I can't live off $1 million. It's only $36,000 per year. Can't do that. So you got to work until you get, well, I got to work until I get to this point. I don't know about you guys. So literally like that's how I personally like make my goals. I do the math because I actually want to know how much I need. So I'm about a lot of money away from that, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Job-wise, I saw earlier you mentioned about the way you got your job. A software engineer at startup. Nice, man. I also do some stuff on the side. No, do you see Corey Kenship's video? What is that? Not sure what that is. But this is like a little hack. Like if you really wanted to know like how much to be like financially like free and stuff, in my opinion, it's like 7 million a year because what the hell are you going to do with 21,000 a month? Like I don't know how you spend 21,000 a month, but like you're living like a good life, like at this. So if you ever wanted to know the actual math, you don't need to be a billionaire to like actually like just live like the best life you can. It'll actually be almost counterproductive for you to be a billionaire, because then like as a billionaire, you probably have to wonder, like you have to put in the work to focus on where that money is going and how to like invest that money, right? So being a billionaire can actually like lead to a worse life than actually just having like $50 million in a bank or something like that, just chilling. People like Elon Musk, they choose to like go like that high and like that kind of path, and that's why they're like so. That's why they're so like looked up to, because that's actually like a hard decision. Like you could just be chilling all day in your house, vibing, like never have to worry about like life financially again, chilling, but like you're deciding to go to space or something. Like that's crazy. So that is how you like really look at like how much you really need. You just times whatever like you have in a bank times 0.036, and then that'll like give you like how much you actually need to live like good. I would say 7 million, because that's like above like what I almost double like what I like spend a month. So that'll put me in a good position where I'm just chilling. However, I need to work my way up to that. So has set like, so you have to set hard goals. You can't just be like a real goal is 7 million, for example, 7 million in liquid assets, right? For 21K a month. This is a real goal. This is pass or fail. A fake goal or a goal that doesn't work is become rich. What the hell does that mean? What does rich even mean? This is not a good goal. So you need, and when would you know that you hit this? Would it be 1 million, 10 million, 50 million, 1 billion? How do you know when you're rich? You wouldn't know. This is subjective. You need to hit like real statistics, because you could be like, oh yeah, like 10 years from now, I could be like, Cornell, you hit your goal, buddy. You did it. Not, oh, am I rich? Not sure. And this will drive you further because you actually have something to look at and to see how far you're going. This won't. Like rich, like what does that even mean? So this is how you like want to really set your goals here. But let's continue. That was just a side tangent right there. Oh, I would argue you can't set 7 million as a goal until you set your first principle and you know what makes you happy outside of the money. Yeah, so basically, that is true. That is true. But just that is true. Cause honestly, like a lot of stuff that you guys have no idea that a lot of stuff that you guys realize that you want to do, like when you're rich, you could just do it now and you don't realize it. Um, Really, like if you wanted to look rich like online, like I think somebody did this, all you need is $500,000 to look rich like per year. So as long as you have $500,000 per year, you're gonna look rich. Like that's all you need. Like after that, you really can't tell, right? So I would say like he is right. You have to know like what makes you happy, like what do you need in life and stuff like that to set this before you even set this number. And once you set that number, it's solidified. You got to make that. But that's a hard number to make. That's not easy at all. Let's see here. Oh, this is a good one. We already covered comfortable. Being comfortable is dangerous. Gotcha. Oh yeah. Invest back into yourself or the business. So at this stage, like you should be like delegating a lot. You should be like solving minor issues, right? And just focusing on like getting the business nice and crispy, like where it just doesn't, you do not, this is the main thing, become the bottleneck of the business. This is one of my major mistakes. My top mistakes right here was that I became the bottleneck of the business. Even if you're in content, even if you're in anything, you do not ever want to become the bottleneck, because once you become the bottleneck, like it is a really bad position to be in. Plus, because it's just so time consuming. Plus, you're not making as much because you are holding yourself like or the business back. You want to be able to. They say like if you can't leave a business like for 2 weeks, and like have it function like when you come back and stuff like that, then you don't have a real business. You want to be able to like leave your business for 2 weeks, come back, and it's still functioning perfect, and everything's like firing on all cylinders. And that's really hard to do. That is very hard to do. So that's why this step right here, 0 to 1 million, is so hard. Like, cause it's like as you guys see, it's a different kind of skill set that you need at this step. Like, and a lot of people have one. A lot of people are good at one of these two things. A lot of people are either good at working hard to get to this point, or they're good at this skill set of leading, but they're not good at working hard. There's rarely ever people that are good at both. So this part might be easy for you, like getting up to here, but then when you get here, you're at a full halt and you're like, what the heck am I, like, what is going on here? And that's what happened to me. I had to get better at developing like my leadership like skills and all that stuff, like how to talk to people, how to execute, how to make the right decisions and stuff. This is a totally different skill set. It's a totally different game. It's a different game at this level. This level is just like about working hard, working hard. Like a lot of it is just about like putting your head down, working hard. At this level, you can't do that anymore. You gotta just absolutely, you gotta work hard at making the business work hard for you. And that's how you will become a happy person. That's how the business is gonna make the most money. Because if you are in the way, then the business is never ever gonna grow, ever gonna grow past you. You are gonna be the main bottleneck, and you're gonna look back and you're gonna look at how much money that you probably lost because you were the main bottleneck. So that's something that I'm trying to solve right now in my business. That you guys have to, even in your normal lives, you have to learn how to start doing this because it's very helpful. Let me see. Boom. Oh yeah. Hire people better than you. This is a huge one. So remember I told you like you want to like control your environment. So you generally want to hire people better than you at some kind of skill. And this will help like a lot. This will change your business right here. Right there. Like that's it. Like if you only did just this one thing. Like and there's another thing for the dumb thing. So if you had a scale from 1 to 10 for like an employee, right? You only want the 8 through 10s. If they fall below that, 1 through 8, drop them. Because it's not worth your time and it's not worth their time, and they probably have a skill set that they can do better in a different place. So you have to learn how to be able to like, you have to learn how to be able to like do this, right? Like I had to learn how to do this recently. This is one of the hardest things like for me as well, because I'm a nice guy. Like I don't like doing like a whole bunch of mean stuff, but I have to like in terms of the business, because if not, then if this person is doing bad, you're only as good as your worst person. And if one person's really doing bad, the rest of them will, everybody will suffer from it. So you have to be really strict on who you're hiring and like what kind of impact they're making, because that heavily determines like the success route of your business in general. And I've seen this firsthand. I've seen this firsthand because remember, I hired that one guy. Where was he? It was in a 0 to 100,000. Hired the one guy. I had to take responsibility for that hire because he wasn't better than me. It has to be somebody better than me that I hire, that can like get a skill set that I'm not really good at that we can add on, where we can like execute. And because I didn't hire somebody better than me, guess what happened? That was a horrible week. Let's just say that was a very, very rough week. So take it from me and hire people better than you here. Boom. Of course, we talked about delegating. You want to be able to delegate. You want to know what to delegate. And you kind of want to learn. You want to be able to like. This is like the hard. This is very hard too because I had to learn this. You have to train people to know like what you want and your expectations. Key to delegating is providing clear expectations. And I sucked at this at first, and I was like always wondering why aren't people doing like what I want them to do? Like why aren't they executing in the way I want them to execute? And one of my mentors, what they were stating was I wasn't clear enough in my expectations, and that's why they weren't executing in a way that I wanted to, like something to be executed. So literally, if you are trying to delegate something, you have to provide very concise, clear, documented, written down expectations in general. And this will help so much. Like this is one of the major keys right here. Oh my god, I cannot tell you. All of these, like I'm like, damn, bro, if only I knew. Let's see here. Oh yeah. It's not about, so don't take risk. Take calculated risk. Data driven decisions. So basically, like a good thing that'll like help you, like guide you through, is you have to have clean data and make like really good data driven decisions. If you don't make, like if you're just making decisions based on like your opinion and stuff like that, like I realized a lot of decisions that I made based on like my own opinion and stuff, they sucked. Because literally, if I just listened to the data, I would have done 2 times better. Opinion decisions don't belong in this realm. Opinion decisions belong down here when you're like just first starting out and stuff like that, and you're trying to make a name for yourself. You're trying to do this and that. Opinion decisions do not belong down here. It doesn't. Different kind of game. It's a different kind of game. That's just how it is. You gotta flow with the data. And this, what you can leverage, and people might think that's a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing because you can leverage the amount of data you have. Because you probably have a lot of sales, like getting a lot of stuff done and stuff like that. You have a lot of data that you can leverage to make like the right decisions for you. And this will make you very, very like successful. Like if you just do this part. Oh man, this is the biggest one. Oh Lord. You are worth way more than you think. Right? So do not let anyone tell you otherwise. Never, ever, ever, ever. Hold on, I just gotta make this clear. I don't know if I'm making this clear enough. I don't know, but we'll find out. Let me know if you guys get it. Never. Can I hold on? Gotta make this yep, do all that. Yep. Hold on, blue. No. Gonna make it red. Pink. I like that. Can we make it bigger? Yep. Okay. I don't like the underline, but there we go. We should change this one right here. What should we change it to? We should change it to red. Never. Guys. What in the world? Guys. Never. I'm going to say it one more time. No matter who tells you to do or lower your prices, no matter who tells you to lower your prices, listen to me. It's not going to solve your issue. Lowering your price never, ever solves your issue. It exacerbates it. It makes it worse. it makes it worse 100% of the time. 100%. Oh, that's actually it. I'm gonna answer your question there. I'm gonna write that one down. Actually, that's a really good question, Glassy. Um, I'm gonna answer this question, but let me just finish this point here. Never, ever. Do you guys get it? Like, I'm just trying to make sure I make this clear. Is this clear? Is this clear? This goes for anything. This goes for salary. This goes for how much you charge somebody to do something. This goes for everything. Everything. Never lower your prices. And I'll tell you why. So basically, like, we tried this year. Like we saw like a lot of I would say like competitors and stuff like that. Like they were charging like lower prices and stuff. So we were like, yeah, like we could probably like lower prices just to like get more people in and stuff. That was the worst decision that I made in 2022 ever. No, actually, ever in business when I tried to do that. That was the stupidest thing that I could have ever done. Why was it stupid? So we got more sales, but that equals more operational costs for less money. That equals less happier customers. What else? Less marketing expenses. I mean, less marketing flexibility because we couldn't like afford as much, right? Lower quality customers, which is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing. Lower quality customers. Like literally, like if you have a very high value product, never, ever lower your price. With this, like it's not like a knock on like people. It's just that like what I mean by lower quality customers, right? What I mean by that is they don't have the like skill or like resources to be able to obtain all the value we provide. They can't realize the value. These customers are usually the top ones that what I realized was these customers, like as soon as we dropped down, these were the number one customers that complained. Number one. Like the most complaints. This was the most times that we've ever had complaints. This was the most times that we've ever had like attempted chargebacks and stuff like that. This is the most times that we've like had people like saying like that we didn't like do our job or whatever like that and stuff. And it was just because they can't see like the full value of like what we do. And if they can't hit or buy at our original price, then you probably can't get all the value like that we offer. Like if they think that's expensive, which makes sense. So literally never ever lower your price. You always want high value. Your price, like if it's a high price, that's better than being a low price. Trust me. And like for these customers, like if they want something and they're like, oh yeah, like can you give a discount and stuff like that? I usually just like recommend somebody. I'm like, okay, like if you really wanted like this at this price, like this guy can do it like perfectly fine. He doesn't do this and this that what we do or like focus on like the just overall like he doesn't focus on the overall stability and like the overall like maximize performance, like, and it might not be just custom just for your PC and stuff like that. However, like if you want like just a lower price in general like that, you could go to that guy, no problem. Like I'll just recommend him to somebody else because it's just not worth it. It's not. Never ever worth it. Worst decision I've ever made. And we've gotten our price back up and stuff like that, so it's gotten better, but literally the worst decision. Because then I can't make as much of an impact on my side. I don't have as much operational like flexibility to do stuff like or change stuff. I don't have like enough resources to hire people. It just causes a lot of effort. So you never want to lower your prices ever, no matter what. Let me see. So another thing I wrote down was like you can't do it all yourself, which we already went through, so that's perfect. And the last thing I really want to go through is competitive fields and systems, right? So a lot of people like look at, for example, like PC building and stuff like that. So a lot of people look at PC building, they're like, oh yeah, that's such a great business, like, right? It's such a great business. When in reality, this is one of the worst businesses for margin. Because if you think about it, you are having somebody has to buy a $5,000 PC from you, right? How much are you making off of that PC? Probably like $400, $500, right? That's decent margins. That's decent, but it's not the best. Apple margin rates are 30%. Anything lower than that, Apple doesn't even waste their time on it. You ever wondered why Apple never made like a game console or anything like that? It's because they can't hit their margin. And if they can't hit that 30% margin, it doesn't matter. Profit margin is like almost everything. So you never want to enter like a competitive field. This is another mistake I really had. I thought like you never want to enter a competitive field because then you're not like you want to enter a field that's not a commodity. Like your value, like you're competing based on value provided, not cost. If you're in a field that depends on cost, you already lost. You already lost. That's it. Boom. Because you're not gonna be able to like. What are you gonna say? Like when this guy asks like how much better is like your like product compared to the other product if there's no difference. Like so what we did like when we like one of our major advantages where we were able to make money was we could just do so much more like when it comes to PCs than like our competitors in general, that we were able to leverage that and like just make more like from that, because we could just like literally we could just set up everything for you, like it's just automated. But like when it comes to like the PC parts or the PCs itself, like even if like a great example is Overkill PCs, they got canceled recently, right? They got canceled because they had too high of a profit margin on parts and labor. So they made too much money. There's a such thing of making too much money in this field, and that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. That is a red flag. You could be well off in this field. Like you could be well off. Like you could have like a great PC company, be well off and stuff like that, but you won't make it to like the levels that I'm thinking about. Like I'm thinking about 25 million. Like I'm thinking about 100 million. How do I sell like a business like for 100 million, 25 million, 50 million? Like that's kind of where you want to be, especially if you're putting a lot of time into it. Like this competitive field, like even if I like made like artesian bills, for example, artesian bills, right? Nobody bought them. They weren't worth anything other than the brand name, which they absolutely destroyed. Like all their inventory, everything that's related to the business, their system, their everything wasn't worth anything to anybody, even PC companies. So literally you want to look out for this type of stuff, and you want to enter fields that are not commodities. You want to have like fields that you almost have a monopoly over. And that's like how you actually make like a lot of money. The fields like this is like great, like for just having like passive income and stuff. Like with the Tune PC, like if I have any income from that, like I usually just invest it back into the business. It's not like a huge deal, but you want to focus on this, not this. This is just based off like scale. How much margin can you make off of this part? Then I would have to be like, oh yeah, I can't provide this customer this high quality part because I'm not making enough margin off of it. So I got to lower like the quality of like the part so I can make enough money off of it. I never want to be in a situation like that. And that's why I was like, oh, we only should have offered one Tune PC. Because like for all our parts, like a lot of people like were saying like our PCs were relatively expensive, like compared to the competitors. And of course, it was like more expensive because we didn't. I would say, what's a good word? What's a good word? We didn't compensate for everything. We were just giving like the best of the best, like no matter what. So basically, like that's why like that's not like a great field to be in if you're trying to provide the best value. So that's one thing I really learned. This is just from my niche. It's not. It might not be the same for your niche, but this is just from my niche in general. Because as soon as I saw like that, people were like, "Oh yeah, like I could get this a big, like I could give you this amount of PC for this little of price." I was like, "Oh nope, I'm out of there, out of there. Not even trying to handle that." And a lot of people that we build PCs for now, guys, I'm like super quiet about tune PCs because actually a lot of people that we build PCs for now, like we can't even talk. I can't even tell you who they are, and they're like major like stars and stuff like that. I can't tell you who they are though. But that's the kind of people that you want to build for, or like provide value to. You don't want to enter a cost. You don't want to compete in cost. You want to compete in value every time. Every time. Artesian was such an L that business was actually doing decently until they threw away. Yeah, that business was doing like pretty good, but it's the fact that they weren't worth anything. Like if your brand like is bad and stuff in a good business, like that's okay. Like people usually look at that and they're like, okay, I'll give you this amount of money for your business, if it's a good business. But the fact that nobody, absolutely nobody, wanted to buy anything or their systems or anything from like Artesian, like that was a red flag. That basically means like what net, like if I'm building like a business, right? Like what is it worth? If it's a PC business, like it's really not worth much, like not much at all. Um, Let me see. Your big brain now. Miss you, bro. Yeah, I miss you, bro. All right. So systems. You want to be able to develop systems. To be able to like delegate. Like customer service. That's a big one that we really had to like learn this year. Customer service. Like systems that'll make like stuff easier. Like for example, like building PCs in our business. Like we had to develop systems for that. Because systems is what everything depends on. Like if you don't have a system, then you're not running a business. Your business is about developing systems, and once you have those systems, then you can hit that 0 to 1 million or 0 to 10 million mark and stuff. Without systems, you can't even come close to do that. Like you can't. You're not gonna have enough time in the day to do that, and your employees aren't either. So developing systems really help with that for sure. And I believe that's everything for the 0 to 10 million here. So this is a lot, guys. This is a lot. This was a lot of jam-packed content. Holy moly! I did not expect it to be that much. But now, if you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I'll answer any questions that you guys have. But I know, hey Glassy, like just asked this. It's like, do you think employees can like good employees? Do you think good employees can operate with less clear expectations, or are you counting expectations as this needs to be done at the same at this time and look like this at that end? Yeah. So expectations is like like what do I define as successful, like in a particular like delegation. So if I delegate someone to do something, right? I need to define like what is successful beforehand, because if I don't define it beforehand, then one, they're not going to be able to know what to look for. They might be a good employee and like focus on like the wrong things, which we encountered. And like number two, they're not going to know like what, if they like had success or like if they didn't, or if they did the job right. And having that, like, do you think a good employee can operate with less clear expectations? Yes, they can, but they shouldn't have to. Um, and that's what I think about it. Yes, like good employees can, but they never should have to if you're running like a really decent business. So this is one thing that I really like try to step up on this year, like especially like coming at the end of the year, because I wasn't really good at setting my expectations, but now like I'm just on this, so they know exactly what I want. And then like there's no like guessing like to it. They're not thinking about like, oh, like the wrong stuff. Like they're thinking about everything that you want done. And they're gonna execute it. But yeah, but like the really good like ones like take initiative like above and beyond like what you do, and they execute that as well. So yes, like really good like employees like they do operate with less clear expectations. They can, but giving them expectations like will put them above and beyond. Like it'll make them great employees. Now Miskiff and crew are gonna make bank. I don't know. Cause the thing about it is, yes, like Miskiff and like I think it was Critical Mass and stuff like that. They are very big like creators and stuff. However, like what, like why? This is what I'm saying like about like the PC business, like and why it's like so weird. Like, why would I buy a PC from Miskiff and like those other creators when I could just buy it from NZXT or like Power GPU or like Newegg or like all these other guys? Like, so basically, like, what value are they providing me except for their brand name as a whole, in return, in which I would buy like their just like computers and stuff like that. So like if they, as long as they find out that part, like they'll be successful for sure. As long as they find out what value add like they're providing like on the back end, then they'll be successful. Like that's all they need. Once they do that, like it's wraps. It is absolute wraps. But Artisan Veils, yeah, they were actually like a good business. That business was weird. That business was just like a weird founder. That guy was really weird. That guy was seriously weird. All right, so last call for any questions here. We went through a lot today, guys. Holy moly. Holy moly. What should we talk about next stream, guys? I haven't felt this vibe since Devin's last stream. Oh yeah, for sure. He actually inspired me to make this because a lot of like content is about being a creator, going from 0 to 1 million like views or like subscribers and stuff like that. But nobody's talking about how to go from 0 to 1 million like a business or something. Well, nobody that's not trying to scam you, right? Whatever. You know what I mean? Like nobody that's not trying to scam you is like talking about that. Some people are like talking about it and they want you to buy this course, they want you to buy this guide and stuff like that. Like I'm just telling you guys like the DL. I'm just telling you guys like what I experienced. Like this is it. Like literally, like if you just take all of this and you're just like, if you have like your own business, you just look through this and you're like, oh yeah, let me not make this decision. Then I'll save you so much money. That's all I care about, to be honest. Hey, no problem. But yo, you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. You guys get some sleep here. I'm gonna like I'll think about it. Cheese, just because this has like a lot of information on it. What I'll probably do is just post it on our Discord, like as like the stream notes in general, so you guys can have it, because it's not really like anything like confidential or anything like that. So I guess I'll just post it on our Discord. But like if there's anything that you guys need, always you guys could just hit me up on Twitter, Discord, wherever you want. It's like in the link to the description. But you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed the stream today.